recording? Oh, we are. I see it now. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Ooh Girl, the weekend Rucap.
Ooh, girl.
I'm Joseph Schless.
And I'm Gerard Cole.
And let's get into it. We're on episode, what is this?
That's
Episode
12 and a half for me.
episode 12 and a half?
Yeah. What is it, 6, I think?
Yeah, I think it's 6.
Yeah.
Respectable.
This one was a good one. Lots happening. We're coming off of a very spicy episode.
Oh, tell me about it. Man, all I got to say, okay, so first of all, we start off, you know, we say bye to Joey J. Adios, Joey J.
Yeah.
Great of the season, although I also love Denali. But also, all of the queens are hot. I don't want any of them to feel just I can sit on my face. Sorry, too much? Too far?
No, not at all. Never.
But the thing I was going to say is I almost feel bad for Joey J because, let me fix my little Disney butt picture over here. I almost feel bad for Joey J because it was like his episode that he was leaving, so you know, it would be nice for him to have his moment, but oh no. That was a Tamisha and Candy's episode.
Yeah. What's interesting though, when I forget what it's exactly called, but the show that Raven and Raja do together, they gave Joey J's outfit a toot.
I'm gonna have to watch because I disagree.
I know. I didn't hate it, but I was like, I'm surprised that the two of them would toot that.
Yeah, that's weird.
I know.
Which look was it? Was it the bag ball?
It wouldn't. Yeah, it was the bag ball when they had to do
like black and white.
It was the polka dot like bow look that she had the last runway, the one that she did together.
Well,
I know, interesting. But yeah, this was definitely Candy Muse and Miss Tamisha Iman's episode, baby.
Yeah. So they come in, they say bye, Joey J, and Olivia right away is like, so untucked.
Olivia's cute, but she's a little shady. She's got it in her.
Oh, I love it. Mm-hmm. And then of course, you know, Candy's like, well, you know, Candy loves to play this like, I'm just a little innocent. I'm over here. Everybody's having a good time. And then all of a sudden she comes over here and says this and that and everything else. But then Tamisha's like, just straight up like, I didn't say that. And then they're like, well, you said this. And she says, yes, that's what I said. And I said what I said. Yeah. That's like her tag this season. I said what I said.
I said what I said. And I mean, the kind of, I wouldn't say squash things, but at the beginning, they're just like, you do you, I'm gonna be me. We don't have to like each other. And, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much like they did not resolve anything, but Candy Muse was just kind of like, I'm done, so it's done. And you're kind of like, are you the great decider of things?
Yeah. But well, I mean, yeah. One of the things that I'm definitely seeing with Candy Muse that I haven't liked, but I hope there's a change in the air after this episode, is that she definitely can dish it out, but can she take it? And that's what's really upsetting. Because I always like a girl that can toss it around, but if you can toss it around, but you can't catch it or play around in the I'm just trying to make too many sports analogies.
Like, not first, she's a top. She can't bottom.
Yeah, it's crazy. But either way, hopefully after this episode, we'll see a different side of her.
Yeah, we'll see. So, the episode, okay, so that's them kind of like finishing out last week. Now, they come back into the workroom, new week, feeling fresh. Sweet little Elliot is like, hey, so can we just say, like, can we leave the past behind us? And they're all kind of like, yeah, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, we'll see. And then RuPaul comes in and announces the mini challenge.
Yes.
Which this week was the Wallpaper mini challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's all I mean. Well, so, I mean, if you want me to describe it, but I don't really know exactly the rules, but they had to team up. And this was really cool because he did announce that they got to pick their partners.
Right.
They got to pick their partners, but to pick them, you know, carefully, because whoever you pair with in this mini challenge, you're also going to be quote unquote stuck with or paired with in the maxi challenge.
Right. So
And
they got to decide on their pairs for the entire episode, mini
yeah,
and maxi.
and then Gottman, because she won last week's maxi challenge, got to choose, wait till everybody paired up and then choose which pair that she would like to pair up with. Which
Yeah.
we definitely see, we're seeing that Rolaska Talks thing come up this season.
I mean, I know. And it's just like, I don't think it's making
Gottmik.
Tina Burner. I don't think it's making Tina
Oh.
Burner look very good, because even in her like confessional, she's just like, oh, like, let me think, who's Gottmik gonna choose? Like, bitch, get over it. And you're kind of like,
Yeah, she did. She did.
but also it is true, everybody did know that Gottmik was gonna choose the Candy and Tina Burner team, because the three of them are Rolaska. I feel like Gottmik is kind of like the Alaska of Rolaska Talks a little bit, meaning
yeah,
she's doing it, but I feel like afterwards she's gonna be kind of like, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Even in the last episode when they were all like, Mean Girl Squad, Gottmik, or whatever
that was this episode.
Oh, was that this episode? Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. So you'll see what I mean then. So yeah, the challenge is, and then also everybody teamed up pretty quickly, but it kind of felt like poor Tamisha and Elliot were
they were the last two that just had to pair up together.
But it didn't seem too shady, but it did seem like a little, like two queens went to Utica at once, and of course, as I probably would have too, Utica picked Olivia. And so then Tamisha was like, I mean, it wasn't shady. It was just kind of like crappy timing. It probably didn't feel great.
Yeah.
But anyways, so now it's the mini challenge. It is the wallpaper mini challenge, and they have to create a look out of different kinds of wallpaper and then like present it like a fashion show. And one of them is like presenting the look, and one of them is dressed in it, right? There, I wrote down the teams here. Let's see. Okay, so the first one is the first team up is the Gottmik, Candy Muse, and Tina Burner team, and they had this like sushi wallpaper, and I thought it looked kind of cute. Gottmik was the model, and then Candy and Tina were like talking about the look. I mean, you know, we could probably just blast through this real quick. Rose and Denali were together. They had buttons, looked fine. Tamisha and Elliot were together. They had the pink leopard print, and Tamisha was doing all of these Carole Baskin references that RuPaul seemed to really love. Because I guess when they filmed this, Tiger King was still fresh in everybody's mind.
Yeah, totally.
And then we had Olivia and Utica. Utica was acting crazy. She's like literally just
wandering around. Yeah, it was so funny.
And I think this is gonna be Utica's Achilles heel here. If she can't rein in the goofiness, but we'll go back to that later too. And then last but not least, we have Lala, Rhea, and Simone doing pizza. This look was horrible, but it was funny. Anyway, so RuPaul decides the winner of the mini challenge is Tamisha and Elliot.
Elliot, yes. To I think everyone's surprised.
Well, I don't know.
I wasn't surprised, but I think that I think where I'm going with is once again they were kind of the underdogs, and it was like, oh, look at them coming up top. Don't sit on them.
They didn't look bad, and also I really feel like a lot of these mini challenges is really arbitrary, and so
for sure.
It's like, who knows what she's judging on? All I knew is that Carole Baskin joke that they kept hitting was making RuPaul laugh, and therefore, if you can make RuPaul laugh during the mini challenge, you're probably gonna win it.
That's all that matters.
So they win, which is nice. They win like some money or something, and then we get into the main challenge of the week.
Yes. yes.
So it's a disco-mentary. So you can tell, obviously, RuPaul like
is feeling
loves disco.
Yeah. Real talk. And I think these queens, really, a lot of them were so young, besides, you know, like Tina Burner and Tamisha, that they were not as connected with the disco era.
Yeah, they're all kind of like clueless. Yeah. So yeah, this challenge, This is, to me, I don't know what you think. To me, this feels like a filler episode. A challenge like this feels like we kind of ran out of ideas. We love disco. What can we do? Let's do this like weird disco thing.
Yeah.
No, I don't really love these types of challenges because what the actual challenge is they're each assigned a different like era or aspect of disco that they're going to be representing in this pre-written like disco-mentary that they're going to perform live on stage. And in these kinds of situations, it's kind of like sometimes it's hard to tell who's doing really well and who's not. Sometimes it's obvious, but at the end of the day, it just kind of feels like I don't know that this is like my favorite way to showcase each of the queen's talents. You know what I mean? What do you think?
I definitely can agree with like, oh, we're running out of ideas and stuff like that. Wasn't my favorite episode. I definitely think, you know, I can agree with some of what you're saying, but I will say as well that they all like, if you just do your part, you do pretty well. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you show up. But I feel like there were some flubs. Like, I mean, we'll talk about it later on, but there was a queen that like you could see once again that they were like lost and just, you know.
Yeah, that is true. There's definitely the standouts in these where you're kind of like, okay, well, you're definitely obviously worse, and or some are obviously better, but a lot of them, like, without the judges' critique, before we get to the judges, after watching this disco thing, I was like, I don't know who's in the top.
That's what I will say. I didn't know who was gonna be in the top. Like,
You know?
it was kind of like I wouldn't say free for all, but I mean at the end of the episode I was like, yeah, I could totally I agree with.
Yeah. Almost any of the safe queens, if they would have said they were in the top, I would have been like, okay. Like it's one of those challenges where it's just kind of like you just kind of got to go with the judges because I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
But the bottoms were kind of like, well, yeah, you kind of
did. It was hard to differentiate the tops from each other.
Okay, so the way this challenge is broken down, Tina, Candy, and Gottmik are representing the birth of disco. Elliot and Tamisha are representing disco and sex. Utica and Olivia are Studio 54, which is probably the one everybody wishes they got, right?
Yeah, totally.
Rose and Denali are fashion, disco fashion. And then Simone and Lala are disco sucks, which is kind of like, it's got to be kind of a crummy category to get.
Yeah, I was thinking I wouldn't have wanted that one, but
no.
Hearing more about it, I was kind of like, oh, I'm intrigued because I definitely didn't know enough about the disco era to know the disco sucks era was actually part of a movement that happened and not just
I had no idea.
Disco sucks. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know about that either. So that was like kind of cool, like one of those history.
Yeah, we learned our history.
RuPaul goes around and does her little walkthrough where she talks to everybody. You know, they have a little chat with Rose and she tells Rose, like, you gotta let go. Like, we feel like everything you're doing is really good and like you're trying to be perfect, but you're not letting go. So if you're not being vulnerable, we don't get the chance to fall in love with you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Which I agree with, you know, Rose. But also, I feel like I could understand that. Like, I feel like if I was on the show, I would also feel like very kind of like defensive and like trying to always mind my P's and Q's, you know? It's got to be a lot of pressure and nerve-wracking for some people.
Totally. I mean, that's the thing, different personality types, you know what I mean? Because I totally get that as well. And I feel like there is I would have such a looseness because I would be one of the people that's like, yes, it's a competition, but I would be just so, I'd be like, oh my, it's another day in the workroom. Let's like, isn't it just so fun to be here, guys?
I definitely think if we were on the show together, you would be the, you would be the more like kind of like boisterous personality that we'd be on the show a lot. And I'd be kind of like quiet and just really hoping to do my best during the challenges.
That would be really fun to see how we would interact on the TV show.
But I don't know. Anyway, what else does she say? Let's see. Rue loves disco. You can tell she talks. Okay, so Rue's talking about disco being like it was a revolution, and the whole disco sucks thing. And this is what she's explaining to Simone and Lalari because both of them are like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
No. So she's explaining to them like disco sucks was like she's saying she feels like disco was representative of like, you know, freedom and gay culture and Black culture, and because of that they like wanted to put the kibosh on it, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like pretty interesting.
Well, I think also what happened too that she was saying is because it was such a the opposite of like rock and roll at the time, which was kind of like a
Yeah,
more like grungy, heavier, you know,
right,
style of music. Like her example was like people were going like this, and
right,
like disco, you're like moving your hips and
whole body,
like, you
yeah.
know, all
But
that
it's
kind
funny because you go back to the generation before that and they were trying to shut down rock and roll because they thought rock and roll was too crazy.
yeah,
Elvis, you know.
yeah.
Anyways, it just goes to show old people suck, and like let the kids
In any
dirty dance. You know
direction.
what I mean?
Mhm.
Let them get freaky. That's all. Okay, so now they have to learn choreography. You know, Rose and Denali are like, we're both technical dancers. We
Oh
got
my
this, right?
goodness,
Very confident.
yes, they were so like Rose literally was like the only thing I'm worried about is winning.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I felt like Rose and Denali kind of would look like a cute couple, like the two of them together. And then when they were up there, like during the rehearsal, and Rose was kind of like in jeans and a shirt and a beanie, and Denali had on her like short shorts and her like little top. I was like, top and bottom. Like see it for
Well,
them.
maybe.
Yeah, not to put anybody in boxes, but um, let's see. Oh, and then so everybody's learning the choreography and it's going really well. And then poor Tamisha and Elliot, he's like, here's a hula hoop.
I know. What's crazy is my roommate is he hula hoops like not professionally, but like like he's a great hula hooper, dances, like he does auditions and stuff with it and all that, like
Uh-huh.
tricks and flips and all this kind of weird stuff. So he was living for it, and
Right.
I was like,
Hula hoop.
hula hoops,
I mean, it
wow.
does feel very 70s, I guess.
No, ma'am, not I.
This shirt is not doing what I want it to do.
It's doing
Um,
everything, and your hair looks amazing.
God, thank you. I mean, what does it take to get a little compliment out of you? Uh, I dropped all my stuff. I got nervous.
Oh,
I'm back. So, yeah, I'm trying to think, and that's pretty much it. Utica didn't know what the hell she was doing, but she was being very funny.
oh my goodness.
Um, Trying to
Interesting.
figure out the little flags. Oh, and we also learned that Tamisha has her ostomy bag.
Oh my goodness. I know I was dying. I was living. I was just like, oh my goodness, Tamisha, can you just become any more just the most lovable human being? To know what she's handling and dealing with and like being such a soldier and such a like a real yeah, soldier. Like she's crazy.
What?
I love it. What do you mean?
Oh, I thought you said like, do you know what? And I was like, is there something we don't know?
No, just
I
because I'm
know.
thinking like just to go through a journey to get back into, you know, drag race, get back into dancing on her legs, and
Yeah.
to know that she's been doing all of these dancing challenges and movement pieces, whatever it is, with this bag attached to her, you know what I mean? And like to
Yeah.
imagine the thought process of being like, I know I would be like, I hope this doesn't get in the way, doesn't nobody finds out, it doesn't break, it
Right.
doesn't break. You know, like that's just not.
Yeah. There's a lot going on for sure.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like every episode that Tamisha is on, we learn a new thing about her. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, this is okay, here's my story. And you're like, wow, you're Superwoman. And then she's like, oh, and also this. And you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you're like mega Superwoman. And she's like, oh, and then also this. And you're like, oh my God.
I
It's
can't take it anymore. She's like,
And it doesn't feel like, I feel like in a lot of times in the Drag Race series, there are queens who it's like all of a sudden they get a certain challenge and they're like, oh, but I have a bad knee that I didn't talk about until we did this challenge. Or like, oh, but my ankle. Or it's always like oh, well, when I do this thing, it reminds me of this childhood trauma. So I don't like the jump rope or whatever
yeah.
the thing is, right?
I hate you.
um, and sometimes it can feel a little bit like,
Just I'm
okay,
gonna take part in
like like, wow, what a time to bring this thing
Yeah,
up, right?
yeah,
But it never feels like that with Tamisha because she never uses it as an excuse. She's just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm having a hard time with this thing because I just had to reteach myself how to walk 6 months ago. And she's like, but I'm doing my best. And you're like, holy shit, you're amazing. And on top of that, I made all my own outfits. So.
yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, so this is the Mean Girls part. This is what I wrote down. This is where, so after the rehearsal, now they're in the room getting ready for the main challenge, where they all kiki and do their makeup and stuff. And that is when Candy and Gottmik and Tina are all like, we have big personalities and we just need to bring that to the stage and and like people want to say we're mean girls, but whatever, like, so maybe we are, whatever. I don't know what they say. But then they're like, okay, mean girls on three, 1, 2, 3, mean girls. And Gottmik is just kind of like
she's
just like, I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm happy about because I do like Gottmik and I don't love this little trio thing they got going on. And I don't like Mean Girls.
That was my thing. I don't mind the trio, but I don't like the Mean Girls aspect because I'm like, oh, don't embrace that. You know what I mean? Especially in the LGBT culture, LGBTQ culture. I just think we have so much, we fight for so much acceptance and so much love and so much kind of peace in our community to kind of embrace. Like, we all love a good shade, like shadiness, like readings fundamental, all in good fun. Right. But when it's like, I definitely don't feel like it's quote unquote good fun when it's like, especially coming off of Candy Muse's big fight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not a good look. It's not a good vibe. I definitely think, me personally, like, I love being shady. I'm an East Coaster. Like, my dad's from New York. I'm from Boston. Like, all that good stuff. And at the same time, I'm all about, like, I want everybody to feel like their best self and embrace who they are and like be their truest person. And I just don't feel like you can do that and be like a quote unquote mean girl,
Right. I do think like a high pressure situation like Drag Race probably is bringing out some of the best and also some of the worst qualities in people because they're all like super stressed, So I mean, at first when they were like forming this like little trio clique, cute, it was kind of like, okay, they all like to be shady, they're New York friends or whatever, but now it's just starting to be kind of like, ew, it feels like exclusionary or whatever.
Yeah, that.
Then we find out in the workroom that Olivia Lux used to, like, was 300 pounds. She lost a ton of
Fit Girl Club.
Yeah. Which was kind of a cute story. She talked about being the biggest kid in the marching band with the littlest instrument.
Yeah.
Which was like, what was it, a piccolo or something? That was kind of like a nice little look into, Olivia and how doing drag has like given her confidence to like really kind of like, feel like confident in her own body and herself. So that was nice. And let's see, Candy. Okay, so then Candy Muse has a little bit of a vulnerable.
Yes, and I needed this a little bit because one, we've already seen Candy getting so much hatred and attacks from like the community after the episode that aired last week. And so it was kind of cool to see like a little insight, and it didn't feel like, oh, I need to say this so that I save face. It did seem like it was just coming off of like, look, I go off sometimes, but look, this is I'm from the streets. This is how the streets were. This is how I needed to be. And she's learning and growing from it. You know what I mean? And I think like when she talks about like, so how, what it happens is Utica is asking her like, tell us about your like most memorable fight or something. She says something like that. Right. And Candy Muse is like, the fight with my inner demons. And I thought that was like, I mean, I'm all about like self work and like meditating, all that stuff, like looking within and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I'm like so here for like, I mean, I think we're perfectly imperfect, even the ugliest parts of us. It's like, we have to learn from him. And I think she's trying to learn from that. And I think she's seeing that side of herself isn't exactly the cutest side.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like she had time to cool down. I really like that she said that, like, it showed, like, uh, you know, a good self-perception of being kind of like, like I'm still working on this, So that was kind of nice to see the softer side of Candy. Um, and then we learn about Tamisha as well. Wow, they really go in on these.
They go in this episode.
We learn about Tamisha being from the projects, and there was a woman who lived in the projects who kind of was like a mentor to a lot of the kids and started a cheerleading squad. Tamisha's like, we didn't have any football team, but we had a cheerleading squad just to like kind of give the kids in that community something to do, like after school program.
Yeah.
And they called Tamisha Booty.
I know. I thought that was so funny. First of all, to have a cheerleading squad and no football team, and then
Right.
even at like a young age as a boy to be nicknamed Booty on the cheerleading team.
And then they found out that Tamisha could do all these flips, she could do all these splits, do all these stunts and stuff. And then when her grandma found out, her grandma was like, "No, boys don't do that."
Yeah.
Too bad. But it was nice that she was able to find like a supportive adult who was like, "Hey, these talents that you have are like amazing and should be celebrated." I always really kind of love these moments where we get to learn a little bit more about the queens and
I
get some
know.
insight into their past. And this season, I really do feel like, what?
I just said it was a good episode for that.
Yeah. I was gonna say that this season, I feel like, I mean, most seasons, I like most of the queens who come in and out of this workroom, but this season in particular feels like they all seem really genuine and like good people, and it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I like that kind of stuff.
And I think, I definitely think what I thought you were going to say, but I think that they do try to do, is I think you definitely get to see so many personal sides of the queen. But I definitely think this season, they're really kind of giving us way more opportunities to get more insight of who some of these queens are and their backgrounds than I feel like we've gotten in other seasons,
Yeah, I kind of feel that too.
Yeah, and I think all of them have great stories and just like great human beings, and I'm just like, oh.
I know it makes it hard though because you start to like fall in love with all of them. I'm like, I don't want anyone to lose. But anyway, so now we go on to the main challenge. RuPaul comes out in a purple sparkly dress. As always, she looks immaculate. Not my favorite. No. I don't know. This look, I thought she looked fine. She looks beautiful as always. This look, again, filler to me.
Ooh, she said it.
And then Lonnie Love is our guest judge again.
I know. Yes. Everybody say Lonnie Love, baby.
Right. Okay, so let me get into the performance. What are your thoughts on this? I wrote down like little one word next to every queen.
So what's interesting is I thought that I was actually going to like this challenge a little bit more than I did. I was just kind of like, oh, cute, I learned a little bit.
I didn't know what to expect. I was like, what are we gonna do? I didn't really know what was gonna happen.
So the first team up was Gottmik, Candy Muse, and Tina Burner. Tina Burner still working her little red, yellow, and orange.
You know what? This one looks good.
I know. I was gonna say this one did look good, so I was not mad.
This was the right time for it.
Yeah. And Gottmik, of course, always looked good.
They were all in red, right?
Yeah, all in red,
which is kind of like cool and cohesive that they did
for sure. Obviously, Candy Muse looked lost. What's funny is she was kind of throwing a little shade, like, oh, if I had known this was a dancing challenge, I wouldn't pick the girls with 2 left feet. And I was like, homegirl, you were definitely the least of the 3 of them that was together on that stage.
Yeah. And that's the thing about Candy is that she's like, oh, well, like she even says to Joey J when like about his outfit last week, she's like, I love Joey J, but like I question your taste level. But I was like, girl, have you seen your outfit?
I know. I mean, I still didn't hate the backpack look, but
I liked her other looks, but we digress.
Yeah.
Girls can't dance. I got these 2 left feet girls, and it's kind of like, why don't you look at your own feet before
and there was literally a part where she like turned, and it was not yet the part because like you could see that Like she turned and not the Gottmik and Tina Burner hadn't turned yet, and then she was like,
Yeah.
but you know, so whatever. So that was definitely a moment where I was like, "Oh, girl."
And
And
if you watch
then,
it, you can kind of tell that Gottmik doesn't fully know what's going on either.
oh
But
yeah,
she never shows it in her face. She's
she
just
was
like,
having fun. That
yeah,
was
even
the
when
thing.
she messes up, she's just kind of like messed up and I'm back, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Yeah. But like Candy Muse was like messed up and like,
Yeah, she
"Oh,
was.
where am I?" Either way. And then I do believe it was what, Tamisha and Elliot next?
Ye- Yes, that sounds right. Yes,
Hula hoops.
the hula hoops. I thought they both looked. I thought they both looked good, but yeah, Tamisha was dead in the face.
Tamisha was,
Like,
she literally looked like scared, freaked out of place, like just like,
yeah,
and
there was like a few moments where it seemed like she forgot she was on stage, and then she'd be like, "I'm on stage," and then
yeah.
I'm on stage. You know?
Yeah, it was really, it was sad because like I really wanted her to excel last episode with the, because she makes everything herself, and then of course I know she's a performer, and like even like this, like the hula hoops weren't sexy and cool, but I'm like, girl, I know you do backflips and splits and all this stuff. I felt like this could have been easier for her in some way, like not to say I could have, I don't know much about hula hooping,
Right.
but
Well, the thing is, she didn't mess up the dance. She had the hula hoop
no,
down. She had the
no.
dance down.
Well, she was
It
a
was
little
just
late in some of the moves, but it was more
maybe.
her face. It was more her
Yeah.
face than
She just
anything.
wasn't performing it. But then on the flip side of things, Elliot was killing it. Just like
Yeah, yeah.
fully present, fully there, doing such a great job.
'Cause she's a dancer, which we expect.
Yeah.
I was really glad to see it.
And then we had Olivia and Utica come out doing Studio 54. Um, and where, okay, so there was the three girls all in red, very cohesive. Then you had Elliot and Tamisha, and they were in different looks, but they kind of complemented each other a little bit. And then you have Olivia and Utica, who were like in two different
Yeah,
shows.
they were definitely, they did not have a costume rehearsal and they just showed up.
Not that that really matters at the end of the day, but like, sucks for Utica because Olivia was looking good. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. And
she was
then,
trying like her short little red thing with the amazing wig, and
yeah.
then Utica just kind of like was not in the right look. It was like a black suit, kind of.
Yeah, it was kind of like a DIY version of Gottmik's black and white boss lady suit, I thought, kind of. You
Kind of.
know.
Yeah. It just really wasn't it. And then,
And she got read a lot for her faces, which that's the thing I think Gottmik, I mean not Gottmik, Utica's really gonna deal with.
so yeah, so Olivia killed it. She just
Yeah.
like was living her best life, having so much fun. And Utica, which we'll get into more when we talk about what the judges have to say, but she was just being so goofy, so
Yeah.
goofy and silly to the point where it like went past like fun and campy to just kind of like taking away from what was actually going on.
Yeah.
And next to Olivia, who was doing such a good job, it was like a real stark contrast, I thought.
Exactly.
And then we had Rose and Denali. Not much to say about this. It was
Not much
great.
to say
Did a good
about
job.
them. I thought it was very meh for like them being so like, we're dancers, we're gonna win this, da 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 da. I
Yeah.
actually thought for being fashion too, Denali's outfit was very ugh. Like for I didn't like it very much for disco. It wasn't too much like wow factor for me. The hair didn't work with it
I'm
in
gonna be
real
honest, I don't
disco.
even remember, which is probably not a good thing. I can't even remember what she looked like. So there you have it.
Yeah, I just and Rose looked cute enough for disco and stuff like that.
Right.
Just wasn't, and I mean, was it the choreography? Was it them? Who knows? But I just was just like, no thanks.
Yeah. And then Simone and Lala come out. And again, I thought they both looked cute and I thought they both did great, but it was also kind of like nothing to write home about in any of those either all four of those girls. It was kind of like they all did great. They all hit their moves right. They didn't mess up. They were smiling, but they weren't like serving it, you know?
No, yeah. And what's interesting is Simone has shown now twice that she gets nervous with dance challenges, and I'm like, girl, really? I would just be surprised by that.
Yeah. But you know, I still think she did a good job, you
Oh,
know.
for
But
sure.
I mean, you know, also it would have been boring if she just keeps like killing every single challenge.
Oh, it's not that even I want her to kill it. I just didn't expect her to be like, when they said it's a dancing thing, she was like, oh,
Right.
ooh. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
what? Really? Just for me, even as a black girl, I'm like, girl, what's going on? What? I know you got some
Yeah.
rhythm.
I know. The dance is pretty simple, like.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so now it's time for the runway.
Yeah,
Category is little black
there was
dress.
some really great stuff coming out here. I was like, oh
Was
yeah.
there? Oh, we're gonna have to talk about this.
Oh no. Okay.
Well, let's take them. Let's take them girl by girl. First one onto the runway, we have Miss Tina Burner. She
Yes.
looking like a painter, like somebody who's gonna like paint your house, in those coveralls. And then it was a reveal, of course, into her little black dress,
I didn't
which had
like
like it had like a yellow and a red handprint on it, and then the bottom of it was kind of like a weird, like drippy wet, like cut to make it look like that, but then it was red and yellow and orange on the bottom.
it gave me very Adore Delano, like not cinched very much, just like I think Adore wore a dress kind of like this without the painted handprints.
Okay.
And even she was like, and what? A reveal. And I'm like, we knew you were gonna have a reveal because you came out in a painter suit and the
Yeah. Came out in white
yeah,
coveralls.
right coverall, and the runaway category is tiny. If you don't have a tiny black dress under that coveralls, you fail.
Right.
Like you like
Also, like, it's like nobody's surprised at that reveal, and it's not like your first look was. It's not like look at this look, and here's another great look.
exactly, yeah, exactly,
But
exactly.
I thought that her dress was bad. I was gonna say
Yeah,
bum booty. I don't know what I was gonna say, but it was not. It was not it. I was like, this is
no,
not the look.
no, but
Um,
she was excited for it.
there was, which I mean, I guess
But I guess you have to
everyone's
be
gonna
like
have confidence.
if it's
Yeah,
you gotta have you can't, yeah, exactly.
yeah. And then next up is Candy Muse. Okay, so she's wearing this kind of like big canvas cutout with a black dress painted on it and carrying a wire hanger with the exact same look on
Yeah.
the wire. What did you think?
I Well, for me, whatever. I'm like, you're probably gonna judge me. I liked it. I didn't like the makeup and stuff with it, and I think that's really what fucked her up. Like, I think it was the black, like smeared Sharpie look and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Ooh, fashion that
but it's
that fucked it up for her. I felt like if she had a different hair and like just clean makeup, it
yeah.
may have been able to be pulled off a little bit better.
I don't know why you thought I was gonna judge you. I loved
Oh,
this.
great, good. I thought it was
I
so
thought it was
cute.
great. And I talked to some
Yeah,
friends who were both kind of like, oh, I didn't really like it. And I was like, really? I thought it was
yeah.
so good.
I thought it was
Um,
good too.
I thought that her makeup looked really good, but the kind of like black oily paint did look messy, and her hair looked a little messy. Like I do think that that could have been improved on for sure, but the dress itself, I thought it was great.
Yeah, completely. And it had her I mean, you didn't see her figure as much, but it definitely had a figure to it, so it had shape.
Yeah, I thought it was a really fun idea.
I thought it was too. And when I say makeup, it was the smeared oil
It was
thing.
all the black
Like,
oil.
yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't some like her eye and lips and all that stuff was done beautiful, but I was
right. That was really nice.
I was
So
took
shout out to
away from
Candy because I was feeling that look personally.
for sure.
And I don't care what anybody has to say. I like. And then we had Got Mick. Oh my God.
I love this look. When she came out, I was like, OMG.
Yeah, I
This
live.
is like, I will say Gottmik is body, 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 but
Yeah,
I am here for it. And she's doing it in such unique ways that it's like, it's not that she's just relying on the body, she's using her body in a very artistic, like a way to be a canvas of something. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna wear a bikini top and nothing. It's like, oh my goodness, this is
right.
actual like it's creative, it's art, it's a piece,
Yeah.
it's
But
something.
I don't feel like Gottmik is like relying on that body too much. You know what I mean?
I mean, she's
I,
just not worn very much at all,
yeah, like he's got a great body, uh,
right?
for sure. But I also feel like Gottmik's fashion is just so good across the board. But this look in particular, I really like because I thought it was like such a cute like little black dress. This bitch came out in the littlest black dress.
Right.
It was basically just like a patch in front of the area,
The air
with like a cute little bow or something on the back over her butt.
is, yeah,
Um, I thought it was super cute. I thought it was very
yeah,
creative,
yeah,
out of the box.
yeah.
I really liked it. Then we had Elliot. Okay.
Elliot's little black dress was from Macy's or H&M or somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Like I was like, I saw that on Fashion Nova, like that.
Yeah.
that
I mean, that was in my Instagram targeted ads. Um,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
so she had that big coat on, and then she takes the coat off, and she's just kind of like, I think that Elliot was saying like she's serving like this rich girl owns everything kind of thing. And to me, I was like, I'm not getting that. What I'm getting is a girl who's not rich, who bought this outfit because she thinks it makes her look rich so that she can go hang out at Beverly Hills Hotel and try to get a man. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't it for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wasn't feeling it. I mean, she didn't look bad by any
No,
means,
it was just
but it was very
cool.
plain.
It's yeah, it's cute.
Especially after like Candy Muse comes out in that interesting look, and then Got Mick comes out, and then this is kind of like, oh, okay, well, that is a black dress, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you have Tamisha coming out next.
And I feel like Tamisha's kind of giving us similar, where it was still gorgeous. Like you're obviously like, oh, did she make that? She made that. Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's
it's cool that she
gorgeous.
made it.
And it was also like it wasn't. It's very. There wasn't anything that was elevated, and I think even one of the judges actually said, you know, everything you do, just think about where you can elevate it. And I think that was a nice way of saying you could have taken it to another level.
Absolutely. And this is where I feel like Tamisha sometimes runs into a little bit of issue is like her proportioning or whatever, or like because like for example a lot of times when she's styling herself she gets really bulky up by her neck, and like her shoulders, you know. In this dress I felt like it was like bunched kind of weird right under her boobs and
Yeah,
bunched kind of weird over her butt, so when she turns sideways she kind of has this like weird shape to her where she almost looks like a S or something.
yeah,
But that's not her body, you know. It's like it would, because when she wears her like slim little bodysuits she looks great, she has a great body.
yeah,
But the way this dress was, I just thought it made her look kind of like bulky in weird places.
yeah. I can see that.
So again, yeah, this was not the best look for me either.
Oh.
And then we have Olivia Lux coming out.
And Olivia Lux's outfit, like her dress, honestly wasn't any. It wasn't like wowing, but it was definitely a cute tiny black dress. But I think what she won a lot of points from me at least was like one, it was gorgeous, and that small black purse, but hair, that
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
hair,
Olivia
that
Lux, who thank God for
hair,
that wig.
that hair,
Yeah,
baby girl.
the
She's not
hair.
contained. No,
Yeah,
ma'am.
honestly, yeah. The
Yeah.
dress, the dress was from like Charlotte Russe or something. Like it was the plainest. I had no feelings about that
I was
dress.
like, that was like some girl's homecoming dress, but it was still cute.
Yeah, I mean, it was cute, but again, it's like, I'm like, yeah, if I saw some girl wearing this out at a restaurant, I'd be like, okay, cute, I guess. I wouldn't think twice about it though. But
Mm,
on the runway, you want something a little bit more. And
yeah,
but that hair,
that hair, baby
you
girl.
look real good.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have Utica. Okay.
I loved Utica's look though.
I
I
love
loved it. I didn't care that you didn't even know that it was her earring,
I
but
didn't
like,
know, I didn't care either. I was just like, I love whatever's happening. It's like this Audrey Hepburn thing. She was kind of sparkling gold. I
yeah,
thought she looked great. I was like, I'm
here for it.
living for this look head to toe.
Here for it.
Absolutely. I loved it.
I loved it.
Um, and then we find out later that she was the earrings, which when you watch the runway, she definitely is kind of like going like this a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is a difficult reference to get from a runway for the judges, you
For
know?
sure. And I didn't think that she was her specific earring, but I did get that she was like like I thought she was an earring or a hook or something because you could tell by the hook on her hand. That's what I was going with. I was like,
Yeah, I didn't even pick up on that the first walk around until
yeah,
she mentioned it later. Okay. Then we have Denali, kind of looking like she's at a funeral,
yeah.
but a very wealthy woman at a funeral.
Hmm.
I personally thought she looked great.
I
I
loved
was,
it.
and at first, I loved it at first, where I was kind of like, "Ooh, yeah, she's looking." To me, to me, Denali looked like a rich woman, where Elliot looked like somebody who was like pretending to be a rich woman,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But then come to find out when she does the reveal at the end, which I really love. Now, this is a reveal, by the way, because
Yeah.
she looked great. She came down the runway, she went this way, she went that way, she came back to the middle, turned around, and took her hat off to reveal she had all these eyes and she was an actual like Black Widow spider,
Yeah.
with the like black contacts in her eyes. And
Mhm.
I loved it. What'd you think?
No, I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
it. I was really excited to see something like this, especially not being wowed by her performance look. I was like, oh yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
so give it to us. Yes.
Yeah, I go back and forth with Denali on her looks. Sometimes I'm really here for them, and sometimes I am not. But this one I really liked.
Yeah.
Um, then we had Rose.
Rose,
Uh,
I just want to move on because as she does not think that we know that that's the same outfit she wore 2 episodes ago, just a dress form instead of a tuxedo. Like it's like she got like the Mr. and Mrs. pair of this outfit. Like I was like, why?
does she not realize that all of her shit is looking the same?
And I'm like, how much tool does she have? Did she like have so much tool? She was like, we just need to use it, guys, and put it in
I'm gonna
every
start calling her Tim the Toolman Taylor because
outfit.
this bitch,
Uh,
I was not the
yeah,
thing about it again. I was like, I can see the idea,
yeah,
to see what you're going for here,
yeah.
but it was just like that outfit with the hair wasn't doing it for me. And just,
No.
yeah, this like, it's this little black dress that was outlined fully in this like purplish, bluish, grayish tulle. And
And there's no space between the dress and like she didn't have a neck in it. Like when
yeah,
she's doing these outfits with the tool, especially, well, I can't say, I'm just gonna stick to this one. I just feel like it wasn't actually shaping her body that well either. You know what I mean? Like it didn't do much
yeah,
for her,
no.
I'll say.
So yeah, it's like I feel like I understand the idea she was going for. I don't think it was executed well.
Yeah.
And it's like you gotta stop it with these looks that are outlined in tulle or outlined in something. Like all of her looks are like outlined, and I'm kind of like, okay, stop giving us the outline and give us the final draft, girl. Um,
Stop.
then we have Lala Ree.
Yeah.
Okay, Lala Ree's favorite thing is to wear a shirt as a dress. She loves short dress. This dress, like, I mean, was covering nothing.
It literally was like, yeah. And it wasn't even that wowing either. It definitely had a really cool little like metal piece at the top, but
Yeah, it was a long sleeve black dress that came down to right below her coochie.
like
And
right below the cooch. Like she had like, oh. No,
Which
even
in
oh,
fact, when
no,
she walked out on stage, was it Michelle who said something like "read my lips" or something like
yeah,
that?
something, yeah. No
Uh,
biological woman could even wear that. Like that's
no.
just...
And I mean, it's not that she didn't look bad, that's
Oh,
for
no, no, no,
sure.
no, no, no. She looked. I mean,
Oh,
she looked like she was. She looked like she knew how to handle business out on them streets, though.
that's true. And I felt like the medal thing she had around her neck was cool, but like it was a little sparse for me. Like I don't know, it was like I wanted a little bit more from it, but she looked fine. It was not my fave. And then last but certainly not least, we have Miss Simone.
Simone, I love this look for her, especially with the hair, the homage to Miss RuPaul
Oh
herself.
yeah,
I will say, like, I love the outline and everything of the dress. I didn't really like, she had the braids and she was like really embracing Afro culture with the braids and stuff like that too. But I didn't really get enough of that. I get, you know what I mean? Like, it just,
yeah,
like, it was cute. Like, if
yeah.
that dress was just fringe, even, I'd be like, oh, great, the dress. You know, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. There was just
I
something
totally
that
get it.
I wasn't getting from it that I felt like she wanted us to get, but it still was overall fantastic dress. She
Yeah,
looked good in it. That body was amazing,
yeah.
and it was
Talking about
very
body.
creative.
Yeah, she looked good. I liked that the dress was braids. Her hair was super fun and crazy. Um, I almost feel I think I understand what you mean though. Like I feel like were the runway category something different, something to do with hair, which I
Yeah,
feel like, you know what? Part of me wonders if there was supposed to be like a hair category that they took away because if you remember Tamisha in the first like double runway challenge day and tonight, her
yeah.
look with the Elvira look was all hair.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Very
And
true.
so now
Very
you have
true.
Simone's look is all hair. I
That's
feel like if the
true.
runway had something to do with hair, I would have been like live, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but for Little Black Dress, it was like she looked great. It was cute. I liked it. I also almost feel like the fact that her entire dress was made out of braids, I almost wonder if it would have been awesome if she had those same kind of braids on her head.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? To make it
yeah,
look like one big, I
yeah.
don't know what. That would have
I
been
get that.
cool.
Facts. I get that.
But yeah, it was like she looked good. Wig was great. Dress was great. I feel like it could have been elevated, especially since we know that Simone is like the queen.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, okay, and so now we go into judging. We have the top queens of the week are Tina Burner, Olivia Lux, and Elliot with two T's. And then the bottom queens are Candy Muse, Tamisha Iman, and Utica Queen.
Mhm.
And I agree with this. All the
Yeah.
safe queens were great. Rose is face cracked. She thought she was going to win this week.
Yeah.
Um, which, watching back, you're kind of like, why'd you think that? But
Yeah.
oh, I'm just kidding. That's rude. But
But not
one
exactly.
thing that I will say that I thought was that the top three queens, it was obviously based off the challenge because all three of them had three of my least favorite looks of the night.
Oh, for sure. For sure. For sure.
So I was like,
Well,
judging was not based on runway this week.
well, we did like Utica's out. Oh, well, she was in the bottom. So
I'm
yeah,
talking about the
right.
top
Yeah,
queens. The
yeah, yeah,
top queens
yeah.
all got top because of the
Exactly.
challenge.
Yeah, because Tina Burner, no ma'am. And
Yeah.
then
But then the bottom queens, I mean, we have Tamisha, whose dress I didn't really love, but then you had Candy and Utica, and I loved both of their
yeah,
looks.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
this was definitely a judged on
Yeah,
performance
for sure,
look.
for sure. When Tina Burner
um,
was in the top and her what she wore, I was like, yeah, girl. Well,
yeah,
when
go away.
she got called and because of what she wore, I was like, oh, I guess they didn't really like her her performance, but I was like, oh, she's in the top. Oh.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like it was hard to tell
Yeah,
who's.
yeah.
But anyway, I can't really. I'm trying to remember if.
Which I actually think is good for her because she has been safe like the first like 3 or 4 episodes outside of
Yeah,
like the first challenge of like the lip syncs, I think.
well, I
So
will say I feel like going into the season, Tina Burner was a favorite, and so far that has not really been playing out in the
yeah,
show. So
Facts.
it was nice for her to get in the top. I'm happy to see Elliot in the top because Elliot had such a difficult beginning to
Yeah,
this journey
exactly. Yeah.
that I do like to see Elliot excel. And then Olivia has been in the top several times already, and we already know that she's a star.
But she has been
Um,
complaining that she didn't, because she's been safe the last like
for a
2 weeks.
few
I think it
weeks,
was.
yeah. And then the bottom queens, Tamisha lets them know about her ostomy bag. She's like, it's not an excuse, it's just the truth. Um, Candy, they basically said like, it's always kind of the same character, it doesn't go anywhere. She does that kind of like Brooklyn girl, but it doesn't always work. So they're like, you know, give
Yeah.
us a new note.
Yeah.
And then same with Utica though, same kind of note, like you're a little too goofy, it's a caricature, you got to reel it in. And
Yeah.
then Tamisha, you're just like, your face looked lost. So ultimately, the judges decide Utica is safe.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
but before
so
before we get there, the winner of this week's challenge is Olivia Lux.
Olivia.
They lived
They
for
live
Olivia.
for Miss Olivia. I love it. She deserved it.
Yeah,
But yeah, she deserved it. That's all I want to say.
yeah. And
I do
then
want to just jump into like because it was just too good TV with Kenny Muse and then Miss Tamisha in
next,
the bottom. Like,
now we have the lip
you
syncing
want
queen,
but
Candy versus Tamisha, which is kind of like
no wonder
after
why
all the
editing
drama.
has been so like big on all of this drama that's been. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously they were gonna be like it's drama, 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 but at the same time, I'm like, ugh. And then they were in the bottom together.
I know.
And we do see what I do love is like even before they go into the lip sync and after it, there's such a you can see that they did make some kind of peace. Like whatever happened between then and now, there was some peace that was made. There was some sisterhood that was bonded together.
Right.
So uh whoever won this lip sync, because we haven't gotten there just yet, it was beautiful just to see that it was like, hey,
Yeah, and
I love you. Let's just go in it. It's competition.
Tamisha is like such an adult, right?
Yeah.
So you know
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Tamisha's gonna just be able to handle it, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't Candy Muse who was like, but maybe she was. I feel like she's growing too. She's growing too.
Yeah.
But so Tamisha versus Candy in the bottom. I agree. I think I could see them in the bottom together. It's definitely great TV.
Yeah.
Of course, I
And
feel
I
like
didn't
in your
want Miss
heart, huh?
I was gonna say, and I didn't want Miss Utica to be singing that song that there.
Oh, I
OMG.
didn't want Utica to be in the bottom because I was worried that if she was in the bottom, she was definitely gonna lose, and I was like, oh no, I can't.
Yeah.
But then again, I didn't want to say goodbye to any of them. But ultimately, okay. So I want Tamisha to win, right? Tamisha to me is the good guy versus the bad guy in Candy.
I
They are real people. There is no
yeah.
good and bad guy. I'm just talking about in my like
Yeah.
fantasy drag
Yeah.
world. That being said, as I knew going in that it was going to be hard to beat Candy. I felt like Candy would probably win.
I want to say this because I'll be the different person. I didn't want Tamisha to go home. I honestly, once it was Candy and Tamisha, I was like, damn, I don't want either one of these girls to go home.
Right.
I was a little bit ready to see Tamisha go home only because I do think Tamisha has not like where I thought Tamisha was going to excel, she's kind of already shown us that it's going to be a little bit hard to get that from her. So I was kind of like, where is she going to go? And like, as much as I love her, I feel like Candy is showing her like there's growth. She's going to have some ups and downs. Like she might be in the top. She might win one challenge or two. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where Tamisha's kind of been like literally safe towards the bottom. So I'm kind of like,
there definitely is that feeling of like, okay, Tamisha, we've seen what we're going to see from you. Whereas with Candy, it's kind of like, I still do think we have more to see.
Yeah. But I mean, how are you going to send some girl home that's been fighting through cancer the last year, just learn how to walk is wearing a little like a shit bag and an open wound on her stomach. Like
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, she's just given so much of her soul. And she honestly, I think we're alluding already that we know that Candy Muse won.
Yeah.
the lip sync.
Again, my theory, you can always tell in the first 15
Yeah,
seconds,
yeah,
whatever I say. And I felt like you could tell right away
yeah.
Candy had it in the bag. Wait, what song was it? Was it Blue Cantrell? Oh,
It was
wait.
if I catch my man cheating, I forget the right title.
I know, I didn't write down the title of the song. I think it's Blue Cantrell, right?
That's not the name of the song though, but
No,
yeah,
that's the name of the singer.
exactly. But yeah.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Um Caught my man cheating, creeping.
Um,
I do gotta
Oops, Hit 'Em Up Style. Wasn't it
hit him.
that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so the lip sync song was "Hit 'Em Up Style," "Oops" by Blue Cantrell, and yeah, right away I was like,
Candy did almost lose it though. When she laid on the ground, I was like, girl, what are you doing down there? You don't need to be down there. But
yeah,
she definitely had emotion. She was feeling it. She was going for it.
she's a
And
good lip syncer.
yeah. And they hugged it out and like real
Yeah,
sisters. And Tamisha was just such a queen and classy woman about it. What I will say though is Candy, you can't she was talking her shit, but the three girls that have gone home have been from the B squad.
I mean that is true.
So there is, but I do think that we're really boiling down to some good seasoned girls that I don't really see Denali
But
going
you know,
home.
Denali was in the B squad too, but I don't think she's gonna be.
Yeah, I don't think
I mean, she
her
has been in the bottom, but she's gonna be hard to beat.
exactly. So
Um, yeah. So Candy stays. We say goodbye to Tamisha. She gives her a hug. It's all like sweet and good. And yeah, Tamisha handles it like a real class act. You know, she's
yeah.
just kind of like, "Don't be sad that I'm leaving. It's okay. Now I'll get to go home and recover and get ready for All
I
Stars."
know, and I love that because I was like, she is definitely an All Stars candidate.
For
Like,
sure. And yeah, so it was kind of like, sad to see her go because we love her, but also like I feel okay about it.
yeah,
Um, okay, so now we talk about points.
yes, bitch.
Okay, people. So, this week, I
Give it to us.
thought that I was killing it because Olivia's on my team.
I know. I was like, Olivia's on your team. My two girls were in the bottom. One went home.
But listen, this is what screwed me up is that they were in pairs and your two girls won the mini challenge. So they each get 7 points for winning the mini challenge. So here's
Okay.
the thing. Here's how it breaks down. Candy, Muse, and Tamisha both get 2 points for fighting.
Oh my god, yes, because they're still fighting.
So that's 2 points for Candy and Tamisha.
Yeah.
Then we have let's see here.
Then they won the mini challenge.
Tamisha and Elliot both get 7 points because they won the mini challenge together. Okay, and then we'll just talk about your team. Okay, so then Tamisha and Candy both lose 7 points, negative 7 points because they were in the bottom. But Candy gets 10 points for winning the lip sync. And then Simone, Denali, Candy, Lala, and Elliot all get 5 points for staying the week. So that's your team. Okay, here's my team. Olivia, let's see, well, hold on. Okay. Olivia, Tina Burner, and Utica. Wait, is that right? Oh, no. Who was in the top? Olivia, Tina. Oh, Elliot also got 7 points for being in the top.
Yeah.
That's what I forgot to say about your team. So yeah, he got 7 points. Elliot got 7 points for winning the mini challenge and also for being in the top 3 queens on the main challenge, right?
Yeah.
So for me now, I have Olivia and Tina Burner both get 7 points for being in the top. Utica loses 7 points for being in the bottom. Yeah. And then Olivia gets 15 points for winning the challenge. And then Olivia, Utica, Tina, Gottmik, and Rose all get 5 points for staying the week.
Do you give Candy 5 points for being safe and winning, or just the winning points?
Everybody who stays gets 5 points.
Okay. So she gets 10 for the lip sync win and then for...
And then 5 for staying, yeah. Does that make sense? Do you need me to go through it again?
No, not at all.
Okay. So at the end of the day, Gerard's team gets 46 points this episode. And Joseph's team gets 47 points.
Oh my gosh. You get 1 more point than me.
I'm livid.
I love that.
Which brings our new grand total to Gerard has 306 points and Joseph has 260 points. So Gerard, you're ahead by 46 points.
46 points, yeah.
And I hate you.
But the teams are even now.
The teams are even again, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens next week.
Please, such juiciness.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
I know. I can't
improv
wait.
Challenge, right?
Huh?
Next week's an improv challenge.
Yes, it is. So it really could be a lot of people's game.
That's true.
Some funny queens, especially Tina Burner. This could be a really great challenge for her.
Could be.
Rosé's really funny. We know Candy Muse is pretty funny, but is she going to be able to think quick on her feet and make it
fun? Well, we'll see. We'll see. I bet Simone will kill it.
I know. I was just about to say, we know Simone is funny as well. I definitely, just because I like Tina Burner and I want her to be seen more as well, I would like her to shine, and just as a comedy, comedy queen, I want her to get some face.
I mean, at this point, if Tina Burner does not start to shine as a comedy queen, then I think she's gonna be in danger of going home because,
because her runways aren't gonna do it.
Yeah, her fashion.
Her runway's not gonna do it.
Anyway, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that's it, right?
That's it for another episode of Ooh Girl, the weekend Rucap, baby.
As always, thanks for tuning in. Of course, the people watching it are myself and Gerard. I'd like to thank ourselves.
I know, but and make sure that we're following each other then, I guess.
Oh yeah, if you do happen to watch this, follow us. I'm at Joseph Schles everywhere.
And I am Gerard Cole everywhere and OnlyFans.
Ooh. And thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you again next week for episode 7.
Yeah.